You're watching Management TV, and I would like to welcome here my guest, Mr. Blake Wittman. Hello.
Thank you.
Who is CEO of the recruitment company GoodCall. Hello, Blake.
Hello.
Blake, today I still hear some voices around that there are no people on a job market, even if economy grows, even if companies recruit. What do you think about it?
I think they're right in many ways, to be honest. The market currently is very closed, at least closed to people who are actively searching for jobs. I would argue, in fact, in Prague, at the professional, relatively talented level, there's 0% unemployment. So if you're trying the field of dreams recruitment strategy, meaning post it and they will come, build it and they will come, it is a dream. They will not come. GoodCall and what we do is actually addressing exactly that issue of going directly after the passive candidate market, because you're right, we hear it, I hear it every day, every week from clients. There's no candidates, we've been posting, talking to classic agencies, etc. We're not getting anything, what do we do? And my answer would be, you have to go after them. You have to proactively go after them, but not just by sending them a LinkedIn invitation, but by attracting them and engaging them and getting them interested in you, not just as an employer, but you as a company, a concept, a brand, a marketing place to build their career. Things have changed. Things have changed a lot.
Okay, so we already heard about the marketing stuff, so that recruiters are maybe more marketers, and it's not maybe surprising already for some of the companies because they have the need. And actually, is there also a shift with those applicants, with those talents, also as with the recruiters, as marketers? If there also a shift with the function?
There definitely is, because 10 years ago, people were interested in getting a good job in a good company, and when you called them, many times they were almost flattered. I was running a headhunting executive search firm 10 years ago, and just about every person we called would have a nice conversation, and if we really wanted to, they would come in and meet. That's not the case today. The case today is that candidates are being called all the time, and they're acting much more like consumers. In fact, we call them talent-sumers, consuming talent who are like consumers, because they're acting just like a consumer would. When you're looking at buying a new mobile phone or a TV, you research brands. You find out from different websites reviews. What are the results? What's the reliability? What are the features? And candidates today are acting the same way. They're reviewing companies. They're asking former employees and current employees about it. They're doing all of their research before they even apply or go to an interview, which 5 years ago there wasn't enough information online for them to do as much as there is now. And there weren't as many job opportunities for them to be quite picky and particular about what they want. But today, they can be. It is a full candidate market, and they're functioning very much like consumers.
Mm-hmm. So maybe just I'm thinking it's like that consumer in a marketing way. It's like you have product, the job, position. It has its own price, it has, 4 Ps, it has promotion, you have to promote it somehow, so HR marketing, exactly. And what else? Delivery, like placement, and so on.
Yes.
Can I understand?
Absolutely. When we take on a job, the first thing we think about is, who is this company? What are they looking for? Why are they looking for it? Why is the position open? How will the candidate impact that role, that team, and that company for the future? We tell a story. We create a story. It's one of the first things we did a year and a half ago is instead of just coming up with job descriptions, internally we said, what's the story? And this is what needs to be sold, just like a marketeer does to a consumer. They've got their persons that they're their typical consumer that they're going for. And in a job nowadays, you think about who's our audience, who's our target, what's the story that that will resonate with them, that will be relevant for them. And you sell the story. Then for the client, you engage them, you bring them on board. For companies, for clients, it's also important how they're brought on board. Is it done in the old traditional way, which means, most likely the company is also a more traditional company, or is it done in a new style way? sending a video, mobile app, something like that? If yes, then the company automatically starts being seen in a different light by the candidate, which means the consumer, which could mean the market. So when they are sitting with their friends in the pub and they say, hey, how's the new job? How did you find it, by the way? If they say, well, actually, there's a new app out there, or they called me through a video Skype and did that, you're making a statement about your employer, about the recruitment companies they use. So this whole industry and marketing concept is affecting not just, how easy is it to engage that one candidate, but what is the message you're sending to the market about who you are as a company, who you are as a recruitment company, because it'll affect them then, but it'll also affect anybody they talk to.
Can you maybe summarize some of the key, let's say, key points of contact of the company and the talent? What are it? Is it career site? Is it a video? Or is it, I don't know, any fair, job fairs? What is it?
Well, we know from the past the classic ways are in fact things like job fairs, your career page on your website, and then other places where they might see you, like job portals. Those are the classic ways that candidates would come in contact with companies. Nowadays, there's a lot more. There's a lot more opportunities, especially one way from candidate towards client, where they're researching, as I was saying before, researching lots of different information about companies. There's sites like Proudly, where a candidate can get amazing insight into a company without ever going there, without talking to a single employee, without doing any other research than going to one website. But other websites like Glassdoor will give them lots of reviews about the organization, how they treat their employees, what are the benefits and things. So the candidate has a lot of other advantages on how to interact with the companies nowadays. The companies towards the candidates, they have to get creative. They have to find ways of coming up even with different styles of marketing campaigns, but not focused on their services or their products anymore, but focus on them as an employer brand, which is something I'm quite passionate about, because I truly believe that if you sell your product or your services in a different way than you sell your company as an employer, something's going wrong. So more and more we see marketing actually talking to HR and saying, what are you doing with us as an employer? Or actually, the way it should work is HR going to marketing saying, can you please help me? Because we need to touch the candidate market in new ways. We're not getting the touch that we used to. We need to find more ways. What different tools and services can we use? A lot of what we do in GoodCall is finding those different ways. What are the newest, the best, the most effective ways to touch the market? So that, again, it's relevant to them. You're not going to speak to a baby boomer, 45, 55 years old, by sending them a Snapchat. They don't know what Snapchat is. They don't use it. On the other side, if you ask a 25-year-old if they can please send via post their CV to you, they'll never do it. So you need to find ways to communicate with different types of people that's relevant to them.
Okay, so it's about being a creative. And talking about creative skills, recently GoodCall held a contest which was about best career site and best career video. Do you remember some most creative maybe signs or characteristic of those top videos and these career sites?
Yeah. So GoodCall, along with Recruitment Academy, yes, we hosted and judged, along with our the panel and the board of Recruitment Academy, the career page of the year and career video of the year. And what we were looking at, what the whole board and judging team was looking at, was on the website side, what was important is that it was clear, simple, and relevant. So websites that had too much information, or that you had to click a lot of times, or that it was confusing, or where you had to log in, it was a real challenge to navigate those. But websites that were very clear, single scrolling page with easy to use information, where you have a mobile phone number of a real person you could call and ask questions to. Websites that were authentic, that had real pictures of real people, not photo bank photos of people who, I would argue, don't actually exist. They must be computer generated, because they seem to be everywhere on everybody's website. So showing real people and telling real stories of all people, not just the CEO and the top directors, but real people. And then a simple way to apply and engage with the company that anybody could go to and use very simply. On the website side, on the career video side, what was important, what we were looking at, was very much efficiency. Mm-hmm. So can you get a message across, not in 10 minutes, because in 10 minutes anybody could get a lot of messages across, but nobody's going to watch 10 minutes nowadays, unless it's, of course, it's on management TV, where everybody would like to know for 10 minutes what people are saying. But when you want to find out about a company, you've got 1 to maybe 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the videos we saw were good, but they lacked the engagement immediately. Just like with a trailer for a movie, you need to bring them in and make sure that you've got their attention, and then you can tell them some more information that may not be as attractive. The one that won was for Czech television, where in 60 seconds they managed to tell everything about their company and what you could do working in it without using any words, in fact. Obviously they have the advantage of using lots of amazing technology and equipment to do it, but they got a great message across in a very short amount of time.
Mm-hmm. Actually, these career sites or videos cannot be universal. Like, is it actually attractive for, let's say, senior managers and also for Generation Y?
Yeah. Well, the best career videos, yes, they are. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite ones is for HubSpot. It's a CRM, marketing, business development software service out of Silicon Valley in the US. And they have a great recruiting video that would appeal to a 24-year-old millennial right out of university, as well as a 40-year-old senior manager, because their message is very clear. Mm-hmm. Change the world with us. Have an impact on something big. Enjoy your work, don't be micromanaged, and grow within our organization. Those are some of the major, but in it, they're able to kind of open up their company and show you details that are important for different parts of the market. Mm-hmm. And this is where it becomes the question of relevance and how it resonates with different people. Mm-hmm. When they're talking to the tech people, they have their developers, where they show the diversity. You know, they show minorities and women and different races of people, so they can bring in the diversity. But they talk about the actual platforms and technologies they're using. Mm-hmm. And this is what many times will interest a tech person. Whereas, you know, the salespeople, the marketing people, they mention the cool things that they're doing. They mention the fact that they have free beer in the office, which obviously is going to be quite attractive to many generations of people, men and women alike. So they get a lot done. Theirs is about 2 minutes, and I would say that they're able to attract a whole spectrum, very wide spectrum of people.
Mm-hmm. Like, actually, it's not such a long time or so far away that you became a new CEO of GoodCall. How it has happened?
How it's happened? Well, it's a good question, and actually I know there was some funny stories around my other business partner, Milan Novak, who previously was a CEO. Just to let everybody know, Milan is still in the company, he's still there. I didn't kill him, he didn't leave the organization. We just flipped roles a little bit. You know, GoodCall is still a young company. We'll have our 2-year birthday in 1 month's time. Mm-hmm. But we pride ourselves on being agile, you know, being adaptable to the market. It's, I think, what is helping us to lead in certain areas of recruitment in this industry. And I think it's what will take us the next 2 or 3 years also, I believe, leading in those areas. And therefore, you know, Milan, myself, Josef Karlec as well, we sat down and said we need to have people purely focusing on different parts of the business. I've run many businesses in the past. I was quite closely involved and a shareholder in startups over the last 5 years. So Milan, Josef and myself agreed, okay, look, I'll take the day-to-day management of GoodCall. But the truth is, we're all quite closely involved in a lot of our businesses. And on a daily basis, we discuss what are we doing, where are we going with things. But we needed one single person from the senior management to be responsible for it. And it's going really well. You know, I would say it's like getting the keys to a brand new cool car. But you know, it's not a Porsche or a Ferrari or even here locally a Skoda. It's like a Tesla. You know, completely different. It looks like the same, but inside it's different than any other car on the market. But Milan and Josef are also very involved in how we're pushing the innovation in the market. That's the whole goal of GoodCall, in fact.
You mentioned startups. You were working there in the past. Can you tell us more in your professional way, which finally happened that you met Joseph and started a GoodCall company?
Yeah. Well, I started my career actually in banking and moved into recruitment and then started an executive search firm. I spent a short time in HR before I found out that my real passion is in having a big impact on the market and kind of inspiring people and the market to make a change and be better. And I did that for about 5 years in a startup called Lime&Tonic, which created unique experiences for people all over the world. I opened up the business in London, in Dubai, in Australia, and we were pushing into North America as well. And that business allowed me to really find out what it means to be in initially a 5-person startup doing everything yourself and changing the market, building a new market, but also doing things like pitching for business and for money and fundraising in Silicon Valley with venture capitalists. It was an eye-opening experience that told me I'm in the right business sphere, this area where we're having a big impact on the market, but not just having a big impact on the market, year after year, but day after day, week after week. We don't have to wait years to see it. When I was looking at that startup, unfortunately, didn't turn out the way we would have wanted it to. And I was looking at other things to do. Milan Novak and I worked together quite closely when I was running Spengler Fox Executive Search and he was running Grafton. So we've known each other for more than 10 years. And he presented the idea of GoodCall and what he and Josef Kadlec were doing. And for me, it just met and matched everything I've done in my career. From mobile apps and marketing to recruitment and proactively going after candidates. It was a culmination of all of that together. So I said to Milan, this is me, this business and this industry and what we want to do with it by kind of disrupting this industry that hasn't had a lot of innovation in the last 10 years. I would argue very little. Other than LinkedIn, the recruitment market has been quite stagnant and the same for maybe even 10 years. So yes, this is an industry that's ripe for something new. My mind is all startup, let's change the world. So I said, let's change the world, starting with Czech Republic and the recruitment industry, but let's change it, we can do it.
And what are the future changes, as you were saying, because you have new positions? So the approach of the company is already progressive in HR and recruitment. And are there maybe any other emerging trends, applications or technologies you want to use and improve and change the world more?
Yeah. Well, I think recruitment will continue to change. We've seen a move now to mobile more and more in the last couple of years. It's been predicted for a few years. Now it's finally starting to come. We like with a lot of things that we're doing, we were a little bit ahead of the trend a year ago with our mobile app. It's now a bit more refined. We're doing great with it. I think that will continue. More and more people will go to mobile, even though right now, if you look at most statistics, they say that something around 1 billion job searches are done every month on mobile devices. So there's a lot already happening. The challenge is to capture that and get them to go to the end of the process to actually apply for a job. And that's where most of the people drop off because the application process is a horrible user experience. So our app kind of fixes a lot of that. But there's still a lot to do on that. Our app will also evolve and other apps will come on the market and they will evolve. Our app could move into more of a swipe Tinder functionality where you can see jobs, like them, not like them, yes, no, giving more information on what are your preferences. We're looking at ways for it to become a communication tool where it can be something of a recruitment software system, but in app form. It could also become a tool for HR departments to use for their recruiting, if that's one way we go. Beyond mobile, I think candidates will continue to use different types of technology to interact. I think video will be a big buzzword in the next 2 years. It started also in the last year or so, but I think it will get even bigger as time moves on. Maybe even some first interviews for a lot of companies will become video interviews, maybe on their mobile phone, maybe through their laptop, but people will start being more and more efficient. As the world globalizes, now for the first time in the last few years in Czech Republic, we're bringing in these shared service centers into the country, hiring from all over the EU and even the world now. 10 years ago, that didn't happen. 10 years ago, companies set up here to hire locally. And they didn't want to bring people from all the other places. They wanted to hire Czechs here for lots of different reasons. But now there's a lot of centers that are hiring from all over. That will continue, and as that continues, there'll be a need to use technology to find those people, engage those people, and evaluate those people. Some will be on mobile, some will be on different devices and services. But the cool thing at GoodCall is that because we are still a startup, if we see a new service or if we see a new idea, we don't need to sit around and discuss and wait and get approval. We just use it. We just try it out and see how it goes. And one of us will start, and in a week we'll tell the others. And if it works, we implement it into the entire recruitment process for GoodCall, which could end up affecting different parts of the market. That's how we started, even with things like the plugin that we have for Chrome, even parts of the ideas on the mobile app. But in the last 2 weeks, we've come up with additional ideas. Some are still in the incubation phase. Some we're starting to play with different services and see how they work. A lot of what Josef Kadlec does in some of his trainings and webinars for the Recruitment Academy is looking at things we test internally and play with and then push out to the market. And this is what's done in a classic startup. This is what the different incubators here in Prague, from Startup Yard to the old Wayra and others, this is what those startups did. They played with new services. In recruitment, you typically don't play with new software and services. Everything is kind of given to you, but we're able to do that. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, thank you, Blake, for an amazing interview, especially for me, and about shaping trends and also our future. And I wish you a lot of luck with changing the future for all of us in recruitment and HR. Thank you very much.
Thank you.